Hello and welcome to a Phantasia Press unboxing that's not a secondhand unboxing. This is coming from Phantasia Press. I got a nice little note on the side saying, thanks, Sean. Well, thank you, Alex. Seriously. Phantasia Press, which is Alex Berman's publishing company. Oh my God, I can't speak English today. It is his publishing company that existed from, was it 78 to 89 for 11 years. They published 49 titles in that 11 years. And, Alex Berman has come back into, he's come into the social media world and has found boxes of old books. But they're not old necessarily, they're technically new. So these are books that were published in the 80s, or as early as like 78, 79, that are technically new copies. And he's come back into the social media world. I mean, I say come back. He's come into the social media world. He was, social media wasn't a thing back then. And he's sharing these wonderful books for sale, incredible stories. And he is bringing the press back now that he is retired from his law career. And they are working on publishing titles 50 and beyond for Phantasia Press. Really excited to see what will come of it. And, oh, man. He had casually asked everyone what their favorite, was it Arthur C. Clarke? No, it was Isaac Asimov. They had casually asked everyone, hey, what's your favorite Isaac Asimov novel on the Facebook page? So maybe we might get some Asimov from his titles. Anyways, here are 4 brand new titles from the 80s, courtesy of Alex Berman. Let's dive in. They're all in these nice little sealing bags. They're not shrink-wrapped, thankfully, because you can get some horror stories of really old shrink-wrap titles getting mold and kind of getting all the moisture trapped within the shrink-wrap. This one's kind of got a nice little, is that like a sheen to it? Or is that just me and the light? This up first is the Purple Pterodactyls from L. Sprague de Camp. L. Sprague de Camp was actually the first author published by Phantasia Press. Not this collection. It was Wall of Serpents, which I purchased a copy of and unboxed it on the channel, so you can check that out. So this is the Purple Pterodactyls by L. Sprague de Camp. This one's kind of unique. If you've watched the videos on this channel, I've unboxed a bunch of Phantasia Press titles, and usually they have the initials of the author on the cover, on the boards. This one has the PP for Phantasia Press instead. I guess, L. Sprague de Camp's got too many initials for that. Let's go back to the dust jacket real quick. Cover painting by Vaclav Vaca. Hope I'm saying that correctly. And this is a short story collection by de Camp, which was originally offered for $25 for a signed edition, $15 for a trade edition. That is nuts. Absolutely nuts. So the sale has ended, but a few months back, Alex Berman had found a bunch of trade editions, and he had offered them up for sale for the original trade price. So you could have bought an original trade edition for $15. This is from 1979. It's Purple Pterodactyls, The Adventures of W. Wilson Newberry, Ensorcelled Financier. So these are extraordinary adventures from a very unextraordinary man, very normal man. It involves crossing dimensions, going through time, summoning demons and old gods, all sorts of stuff in here. I have not read any of these stories. I kind of just read the synopsis of them, but it sounds fun. There is no interior illustrations, which is how it was back then. No interior illustrations, but that's fine. It's kind of a smaller, it's kind of the same size. No, it's not the same size. This is smaller than the other titles, which makes sense because it was probably a smaller trim size for like back in the 70s. There's Purple Pterodactyls, and 200 of which, so this is limited to 200 copies. This is number 6, signed by L. Sprague de Camp. That is crazy. I mean, even back then, 200 is a very low limitation. I know a lot of these are getting like 250, a little bit more. Very cool. Very, very cool. But yeah, It's interesting. So this, probably predates them putting the initials on the books. But, we'll keep it out. Makes it look nicer that way. I'm going to put that one on the side. We're going to go to the next one. This one is Orion Shall Rise by Poul Anderson. So Poul Anderson, science fiction author. This is a science fiction title of a not post-apocalyptic, because, it's still science fiction. Post-nuclear war. So nuclear war has kind of set technologies back a little bit, which you wouldn't really get from the cover artwork here. Look at the marbling there. Once again, the cloth matches the... Well, this wasn't really cloth, but it matches the slipcase. There is the total cover painting. This time it is by Darrell Sweet. Darrell Sweet, you might recognize as being one of the artists very much attached to the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. So, Phantasia Press, the PA for Poul Anderson. Look at the marbling on the end papers there. It's pretty crazy. This one's a signed edition of $45. Must not have been a trade edition for this one. 600 copies. So 600 signed copies. That was $45, so it's almost double the price of Purple Pterodactyls there. So this is the only novel within his Morai series. He has a bunch of short stories in the Morai series. There we go. Let's see if it mentions them. It doesn't. I think these stories go back to like the 50s through the 70s, leading up to this novel from the early 80s. So as I was saying, the nuclear wars have kind of set technology back a little ways. Now there are kind of factions. Oh, the tip-in page here kind of got tipped in too far. Got a little glue there. But, number 483 of Poul Anderson. Very, very nice. Very different factions, including the Morai, which are descendants of the Maori, is how you pronounce it, I believe. I could be wrong on that. The indigenous tribes of New Zealand, the Polynesian tribes. And Orion refers to, I imagine this entire novel deals with the various factions of the world kind of getting along, or not getting along, if you will. Darrell K. Sweet's name is like front and center on that, too. The Orion in the title refers to the Orion project, which was the idea of launching spacecraft and propelling them through nuclear explosions by setting them off behind them, and it would propel the ship forward. That was abandoned in the past because maybe setting off nukes to, fuel your ship is probably not a good idea. But, in the post-nuclear world of Orion Shall Rise, they're going right back to that idea. See what happens. So we're going to put this one in the slipcase here. We're going to put it back. Copies, he is now sold out of those. He had went on Facebook and said, here's a deal. You can buy Orion Shall Rise for pretty cheap for a brand new copy of a 40-year-old novel. So I was very excited to grab that. These last two are in one package. These last two include Homefaring, which is this very slim tome by Robert Silverberg, and The Lavalite World by Farmer. So The Lavalite World we'll go into first. We'll hop into it. Smaller tome again. I like that the Lavalite World is from the World of Tears series, and this is the 5th volume, so you have 5 on the spine there. These were not first editions per se. It might be first hardcover editions or first special editions. Orion Shall Rise, and I believe the Purple Pterodactyls were both first editions. The Purple Pterodactyls was a collection of previously published stories. Orion Shall Rise was a first edition. Lavalite World and all of the World of Tears were previously published. These go back to way before Phantasia Press was a thing. So we have cover painting by Chris Miller and headline design by Greg T. Trend. There we go. It was a trade edition of $18, special edition of $30. That's the World of Tears, Lavalite World. And then you can see the other ones that were still available at the time. This was volume 5 of the World of Tears. So World of Tears was published originally before Phantasia was a thing, and then when Phantasia came around, they republished them in special signed editions with hardcover editions. I don't know if the originals were hardcover. I am imagining they weren't, but I could be mistaken on that. So World of Tears. I actually recently unboxed. I just recently unboxed several other titles from World of Tears that I was able to purchase on the secondary market. So it's about little pocket dimensions. Little, the worlds are kind of simulations, if you will, little pocket creations. And they're kind of ruled by a species that is very similar to humans, but claimed to be superior to humans. And so we're following some humans throughout it. I have not read any of the titles yet. I only just got the other ones. But this is number 7. There we go. Beautiful. Philip was a farmer. It's touted as one of Farmer's best work. And even Alex said so himself. So the Lavalite World follows our protagonists going into a pocket dimension that is constantly changing, kind of like a lava lamp. A lava light. You can see like the rock formations there kind of changing. And you got the shirtless dude shooting his laser revolver. Not really sure what's going on there. But anyways, that's the Lavalite World, the titular Lavalite World. So, slowly but surely building up my Phantasia collection, including the World of Tears series by Philip Jose Farmer. So I'm working on that. Still missing 2 titles. This brings me up to having 3 of the titles. Still need 2 more. Then there was a 6th title that was published in the 90s, which was after Phantasia had ceased its original operations. And last but certainly not least, we have Homefaring by Robert Silverberg. It's a very slim tome. And I don't have much information on this other than the brief 1-sentence synopsis from Goodreads. And I said, you know what? I need to read the hell out of this based on the synopsis. So first, let's look at it. It's $40. Originally published, cover painting by Alex Ebel, who we are familiar with from other titles, that other artwork he's done for other Phantasia titles. You got yourself lobster, a man, and some sort of creature over here, which kind of looks like a lamprey, but like a mutant lamprey. So the synopsis of Homefaring is a man, the protagonist, has volunteered for a time travel experiment, and it doesn't quite go well, and he wakes up a few billion years past the mark. Wow, look at the texture. Let's see if I can get a better angle on this. The texture on that first page is really nice. You can you see that? Not really. Very nice, like, granular texture there. Very nice. So anyways, 83. Oh, are all the pages on that? They are. That's really nice. Very, very large margins as well for being a small title. I don't know if it even exceeds 100 pages. It does. Just barely. 101. Look at that. Then we have number 7, signed by Robert Silverberg. I'm really loving the paper on this. This is gorgeous. So anyways, Guy volunteers for time travel, misses the mark by a couple billion years in the future, and he awakens to find that his consciousness is now in the body of a giant sentient lobster. That's it. That's the synopsis it gives you on Goodreads. I'm like, holy crap, I need to read this. So, Robert Silverberg was seeking to write the ultimate giant lobster story, which is a subgenre or genre I did not realize existed. Giant lobster story was not on my bingo sheet for genres to delve into. But now that I know it's a thing, I gotta get it. Yeah. When a laboratory experiment goes awry, Jim McCulloch is projected millions of years in the future. He finds himself sharing the mind and body of a strange and unexpected creature, which has become the predominant life form on the planet. It's a lobster. He has become a lobster. And I am all for it. It sounds kind of like, Metamorphosis by Kafka meets, I don't even know, meets the original ending for Army of Darkness, where Ash goes into the future. I'm all in. But, unfortunately the dust jacket's a little, must have been a little crammed in the slipcase here, so when I got it out, it's got a little bit of wear there from kissing the slipcase, if you will. But there we have it. 4 brand new titles from the 80s. These books are 40 plus years old. Well, not some of them haven't quite hit 40 yet, but they're getting there. Like, and the oldest is over 40 years old. It's 43 years old. 4 incredibly old novels. Not that 40's old, but in terms of book collecting, it's not like a recent press. Purchased brand spanking new from Alex Berman at Phantasia Press. Like I said, Orion Shall Rise is sold out now. He might still have copies of Pterodactyls, Lavalite World, and Homefaring. I'm going to put a link in the description below to Phantasia's site. He does have a list of the titles and the prices for any titles he still has remaining on the site, so you can just give Alex an email, shoot him an email. He'll tell you what he still has available, and you can buy brand new titles that are 40 years or pushing 40 years old, which is just crazy, but it's gorgeous. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what Alex has next on his plate for Phantasia Press' 50th title and beyond, and you can bet I am going to buy a copy when it comes out. I don't think it's going to be $45 for a signed edition, but hey, you never know. Anyways, thank you very much, Alex, and everyone over at Phantasia Press for just having these titles still available and for just kicking ass the past year or 2 years back in the limelight. They had, I mean, this is the press that published the very first signed Stephen King edition. They recently just did remarked copies of the Firestarter Dust Jacket, remarked and signed by Michael Whalen. I think copies of that are still available as well. And yeah, in between Dust Jackets, books, trade editions, signed editions, they are just absolutely kicking ass. So thank you very much for watching. If you've come this far, please consider liking and subscribing. I do have a bunch of other unboxing videos on the channel, especially other Phantasia Press ones, because I'm trying to build out the collection. But anyways, thank you very much, and we will see you around next time.